I told my boyfriend his touch made me uncomfortable, and after that, he never touched me again. I've been with my boyfriend Dave for 2 years. When we first met, he was honestly the sweetest guy ever. He was affectionate, funny, caring, and constantly touching me in little ways, holding my hand, hugging me from behind while I cooked, kissing me randomly, playing with my hair. At first, I loved it. He always made me feel wanted, loved, like I was the most beautiful girl in the room. Even after we moved in together, nothing changed. We spent every day together, watched shows, cooked dinner, and honestly, our relationship felt perfect. My friends would even joke that I was lucky because most guys stop being affectionate after a while, but Dave never did. He always wanted to be close to me. The problem was, my life started getting exhausting. Work became stressful, I was constantly overwhelmed, mentally drained, and tired all the time. And slowly, something that once made me feel loved started to feel overwhelming. Then one night, everything changed. What I said ruined everything. Then one night, everything changed. I'd been exhausted for weeks. Work was overwhelming, I was barely sleeping, and I'd even been sick. Dave had actually been really understanding. He never pressured me, never complained. But one night, while we were in bed, he wrapped his arms around me from behind, started kissing my neck, touching me gently. And honestly, he wasn't even being pushy, he was being sweet. But in that moment, something in me snapped. All the stress, the exhaustion, the frustration, it all came out at once. I pushed him away and yelled, "Just leave me alone, that's all you ever think about." And then I said something I wish I could take back. "You're such a creep." I'll never forget the look on his face. He just froze, looked down, and quietly said, "I'm sorry, I just wanted to show you love." But I was still angry, so I said something even worse. "Your way of showing love disgusts me." And after that, he grabbed a pillow and slept on the couch. He never touched me again. After that night, everything changed. I tried talking to him the next morning, but he felt different. Distant, quiet, hurt. He kissed my forehead before work, but that was it. And then days passed, then weeks, and my boyfriend never touched me again. No hugs, no random kisses, no hand on my leg while we watched TV, no cuddling in bed, nothing. He stopped sleeping on the couch eventually, but even when he came back to bed, it felt like there was an invisible wall between us. He stayed on his side, never reached for me, never held me. And the worst part? I started missing everything. His hugs, his kisses, the way he looked at me like I was everything to him. I finally realized I didn't miss the attention, I missed him. So one night, I finally decided to say something. His response broke me. After 2 weeks of distance, I couldn't take it anymore. It felt like we were roommates instead of a couple. We still ate together, talked about random things, lived in the same apartment, but emotionally, he felt so far away. So one night during dinner, I finally said something. I looked at him and quietly said, "Dave, you can touch me again if you want. I'm sorry for what I said. I was exhausted, stressed. I didn't mean it." He looked up at me for a few seconds, and honestly, I thought he was finally going to hug me, tell me he missed me too, maybe tell me everything was okay. But instead, he just nodded slowly and said, "Okay, Lilith." That's it. No hug, no smile, no affection, just, "Okay, Lilith." And somehow that hurt even more, because for the first time, I realized something was seriously wrong. Then a week later, I tried getting closer to him in bed. What happened next terrified me. A week after my apology, nothing had changed. He was still kind, still made me coffee in the mornings, still asked if I had eaten. But emotionally, it felt like he had completely shut down. No flirting, no affection, no desire. So one night, I decided to try getting closer to him. We were in bed. He was scrolling on his phone like always. I slowly moved closer, rested my hand on his chest, and curled up beside him. He smiled a little, even played with my hair for a second. And honestly, for the first time in weeks, I thought maybe things were finally getting better. So I gently took his hand and placed it on my chest. I wanted him to know I missed him, that I wanted us back. He smiled again, but something felt off. He didn't look excited. He looked sad. And then I realized something that terrified me. Nothing happened. No reaction, nothing. Before, even a kiss would instantly turn him on. But this time, nothing. So I nervously asked, "What happened, babe?" He looked away and quietly said, "I'm just tired. I think we should sleep." That's when I knew something was broken. After that night, I couldn't stop thinking. Why had he changed so much? Why didn't he want me anymore? I started overthinking everything. So eventually, I told my friends what had been happening. I told them everything. The fight, what I said to him, how he stopped touching me completely, and especially what happened in bed. I thought they'd help me understand him, maybe tell me how to fix things. But instead, one of them looked at me and said, "Don't you think that's weird? A guy doesn't just stop wanting you overnight." Another one immediately added, "Lily, what if there's someone else?" I just stared at her. What? She crossed her arms and said, "Think about it. He suddenly stops touching you, stops wanting intimacy. What if he found someone else?" I didn't want to believe it. I tried defending him, but honestly, their words got stuck in my head. That night, I couldn't sleep because all I could picture was Dave with another woman. The next thing I did ruined everything. After what my friends told me, I completely spiraled. I couldn't stop thinking about it. What if they were right? What if the reason he stopped touching me was because he was touching someone else? That night, I barely slept. And the next day, I snapped. Dave had just gotten home from work. He was taking off his shoes when I suddenly asked, "Tell me the truth. Who is she?" He looked completely confused. "What are you talking about?" And I just lost it. "Don't lie to me. You stopped touching me. You don't even look at me the same anymore. Did you find someone else?" He stood there quietly for a few seconds, then softly said, "Lily, there's nobody else. He looked down for a second, and what he said next honestly shattered me. What you said really hurt me. I didn't expect what he said next. After accusing him of cheating, Dave just stood there quietly. Then he looked at me and said, "There's nobody else, Lily. I just felt really hurt by what you said." He looked down for a second and quietly continued, "You called me a creep. You said the way I loved you disgusted you. Ever since then, I've been scared of making you uncomfortable. I started wondering if I touched you too much, if I made you feel trapped, and honestly, I just started feeling insecure." Hearing him say that completely broke me. I started crying immediately, and I said, "Dave, it was just something I said in the moment. You're overreacting." The second those words left my mouth, everything changed. He just looked at me, completely silent. His face changed. Then he quietly said, "You really think I'm overreacting?" That's when I knew I messed up. After I called him dramatic,
Dave just stood there for a second, quiet, hurt, tired. Then he sighed and said, "You know what? I don't think this is going anywhere anymore." And before I could even process what he meant, he walked to the closet, grabbed a suitcase, and started packing. I immediately started panicking. "Dave, please don't do this. We can fix this. I didn't mean it." But he barely looked at me and quietly said, "I can't stay in a relationship where I feel judged for the way I love. I'm exhausted, Lily. I just don't have the strength anymore." Then I tried to hug him, but he gently stepped back and said something I'll probably never forget. "Please, don't touch me." He didn't yell, didn't insult me, didn't fight. He just picked up his suitcase, looked at me one last time, and left. And honestly, that's when I realized I didn't lose him in that moment. I lost him the night I made him feel ashamed for loving me.
Thanks for watching until the end.